Hello. I'm back with just some other random topic to talk about. It's actually like one topic that I just happened to see, and another kind of pressing question that I think about sometimes, and that I don't mind asking other people as well. It's kind of like it's almost like a lighthearted way to kind of get to know someone. But let's start with the first one that I just randomly saw. If animals could talk, which species would be the rudest? Now, starting easy. Here, random relic. That's okay. Um, Starting easy, we could, look at like just common household pets, right? So, first thing that comes to mind, oops, actually, I think I have, yeah, I do. First thing that comes to mind is a cat, right? A cat, I think, would either be the nicest thing ever or the meanest thing ever. Now, I've lived with a roommate who had a cat before, and in my experience, she was pretty nice. Now, I know generally, or at least from what I understand, generally, cats prefer someone who isn't all up in their face and really trying to talk to them and force themselves towards them, if that makes sense. Um, I've also met some very standoffish cats, so I think they're really one or the other. I guess I could also see them just being indifferent as well. I think it just kind of depends on the person. Um, Other thought is dogs. Now my family has dogs, and I think generally dogs will just lean towards happy, happy to see you, happy to be around, happy to lick their balls or something, whatever else dogs do. In my experience, I think dogs will generally be fine. Maybe stern in a way, if that makes sense. Maybe more of like a guard dog or a what do you call it, like a ranch dog, things like that, things that protect dogs that protects other things. I could see that as well. But it's hard to think of a dog that would be generally upset unless they've been, mistreated, which wasn't. That could be for anything, really. Birds. I think birds in general. I mean, not even just as pets, but I think birds in general would just kind of be rough to be around, right? They're very territorial. They're kind of just be yapping all the time. Is enough? 18? That's not enough. So I don't know. I think birds would be kind of rude to be around in general. What other house pets are there? Gerbils and like guinea pigs and hamsters and things like that. I don't think I've ever met someone who's had a pet like that doesn't get bitten. I don't know. Those kind of little rodents don't seem to be the best kind of pets to keep around. Or would I imagine them to be polite in any form, any sense of the word? I don't know. What else do people keep? Reptiles. I think I think most reptiles would be pretty chill. No, like chameleons, like turtles and amphibian. Um, but we'll just kind of lump them together. Why not? Uh, snakes. I'm not sure. I think the venomous ones, especially if you're catching one from the wild, those ones might be pretty rude. And are there any more like common house pets? I don't know if I could think of any. But I'm gonna go ahead and link that into the next topic, which would be if you were to keep a pet, an exotic pet of any kind, not just your common household pet, the dog, the cat, the this, that, whatever, anything I mentioned so far. which I would already say kind of snakes and reptiles and amphibians are already a bit exotic. But if you're keeping an exotic pet, what would it be? And I've definitely thought about this a lot. Okay, I got poison. So, right, that doesn't hit. Okay. I definitely thought about this a lot. I think number one would be an owl. Owls are kind of like, how would you say? Owls are kind of like the cat version of a bird. Did I say that right? Bird version of a cat. You know what I mean? Um, and I don't think I've ever seen an upset owl, at least as a pet. I think those would be pretty cool. A fox would definitely be up there. I know foxes are a bit more mischievous, so maybe that's not the best idea. But I think they'd be pretty cool. No? If I had a other just random thought, I really like what's that bird called? The bateau? How do you say that? Oh, that's not how you spell that. Patu? Potu? Something like that. Yeah, those guys are pretty cool. I'd maybe get one of those. They're a little freaky looking, but I think they're pretty cool. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you later.